This video was born out of a conversation I had with my friend a week ago. He too is a witness of the Red Velvet PEAKED allegations that surfaced in 2019 by the way, which is why this topic came into the conversation. Just wanted to make note of that. Anyway, this video is a list of groups who I fear may have peaked in one or more aspects. Let's freaking get into it. Typically, these videos only feature girl groups and female artists, so I thought I'd put on my feminist hat for a quick second. And through that, I was reminded of the boys. See, I expect the men to stay out of the women business, cause I stay out of the men's business, but even the peripheral of my nosy Aisha noticed the lack of the boys' mentions from my gay Twitter mutuals. And I'm telling you, they talk about anything. Like, does anybody really care that Vix is coming back? Anyway, imagine my surprise when I looked up their Spotify, and not only did I notice lower streaming numbers than Luna, but I also saw they released at least 10 singles this year, and outside of Lip Gloss, you, nor I could name a song, B-side, concept, color, or vibe. Like, oh, it's bad for y'all over there in Boyville, huh? But we could all tell you which the species will be going extinct after the leftover albums are dumped in the trash. So yeah, safe to say, the boys peaked whenever Road to Kingdom happened or whenever The Stealer was released. They'll never top Thrill Ride musically, like you all mad as hell, but it's the truth, like you claim to miss Big Time Rush but won't stream their music reincarnate. And conceptually, they not topping The Stealer. Flops. Y'all, I hate to say it. I really do. It's Jover. Starship effectively killed WJSN, ruining their chances of increasing their popularity. One thing about it though, they'll always have a place on the charts when it's New Year's Eve. One thing about it though, they'll always be someone's thumbnail for a campy K-pop playlist. One thing about it though, they'll always release a good song. Not including their year on Queendom, by the way. Whack music. Unfortunately for the day girls, the only thing they'll be doing after school is going to detention. Weekly debuted in 2020 with a mini-album, We Are, featuring the title track Tag Me. The track was really popular among K-pop fans. Not just because of how catchy the song is, but because in a sea of girl crush, Weekly were one of the first mid-tier groups that dared to be different. Not only that, but they stuck with their concept for quite a long time without changing it to fit the newest quarantine trend. That is, well, until, less than a year in their career, the group went viral with their title track, After School. It's definitely regarded as one of the few real fourth-gen hits, nearing 200 million streams on Spotify, something ITZY hasn't seen since the Reagan administration. However, with the loss of a vital member, singles that go largely unnoticed, and a drastic concept change that created the Great Stan Migration, Weekly haven't been able to replicate similar amounts of success that After School brought them, and I don't believe they'll ever be able to. That's because the only thing it did give them was a viral hit. Nobody was actually standing Weekly at that time, contrary to popular belief. And even if they went the Momoland route and remixed their hits, or should I say singular hit, I don't think much would have changed with them. I think they'll stay right where they are as a low to mid-tier group with a decent-sized fanbase, and that's okay. Girl. First of all, I just need you all to know that I stand for the 50-50 girls down. I don't understand how you can read their statements describing all their suffering during their time in the group, and still somehow come out sympathizing with the people behind it. Like, one thing about you K-pop slurs is that you ain't ever gonna be on the right side of history. Like, ever. Anyway, I need that company, and you people as well, to be so serious. 50-50 is now a quarter. It's just Kina as a one-woman band until the company replaces the other 3 members with new girls nobody is gonna care about. I talked about this a while ago, but the chances of 50-50 actually becoming a top girl group and continuing to dominate the TikTok sped-up version market were slim to none. I always felt like they were gonna be one-hit wonders, and that's okay. It's a beautiful thing actually, but that was gonna be their popularity peak, and they were not going to reach it ever again. So why everyone turned on them because they were threatened by 50-50 girls, and why the company even wanted to trap them in their contracts for so long, I just will never understand. I'm glad the other girls are free and hope that they'll get their justice in the future. The rest of you weirdos can go to hell. Although I never saw it for Kepler, whatever hype and potential they had to remain a top 4th gen girl group was effectively ruined by their company within literal weeks of their debut. Actually, it was killed even before that, which I have talked about before. But everything they did following with Dada didn't help them out one bit. You would think that debuting through a platform like Mnet would have you set for life, but even that can be tricky. It really is a combination of timing and company management at every stage, pre, during and post-produce. The ever-changing concept, coupled with the unclear musical identity, really did it to them. More than ever, I feel these are the two most important aspects to keep consistent as a K-pop artist. I think people do like change and can handle it, but contrary to whatever beliefs y'all have, not all change is good and deserves to be welcomed. Like, if you mixing it up but it's all on a poo-poo platter served hot, what can a consumer do about that? In terms of popularity, I think Kepler peaked either with their debut or with the follow-up title track, Up. In terms of music, I still think they have a long way to go when it comes to making #real music. Of course they have at least one amazing B-side every release that keeps at least me interested, but I'm still waiting on their real magnum opus. I'm waiting for them to release another outstanding title track that's coupled with a great mini or full album. Additionally, when it comes to their creative direction, they're definitely not topping Troubleshooter. I talk about it all the time for a reason, but that era was so beautiful. I still think about the pink, yellow, and blue teasers. You would think it wouldn't be so hard to top, because incorporating things like a moon and telescope are pretty standard and basic when it comes to the space concept, but their company just doesn't care to. They genuinely haven't put effort into anything since then. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, Dreamcatcher just seems to get better and better. A few years ago, Dreamcatcher's title tracks used to be very formulaic, and over time would become boring as hell. Their pop Satanist Serpent Girl sound just didn't have the same timeless feel as its opposing Christian horse girl K-pop concept. But sometime during the pandemic, when everyone began to hop on the pop-punk rock wave, Dreamcatcher evolved and changed their sound. It was hit or miss, with a lot of really bad misses, looking at you Boca, but when it was good, it was great. And like I said, it's only continued to get better. I think their title tracks are the best it's ever been, and their B-sides just as, if not even more interesting than before, but for some reason, Dreamcatcher's popularity didn't seem to change much despite the rock revival. You would think, one of the only groups keeping it alive all those years would have at least gotten to eat off the plate, but they went to bed hungry each and every night. So what that tells me, is that Dreamcatcher's popularity, at least among the mainstream more casual fanbase, will just never grow more than it already has. But that's only because they've already built a solid foundation to stand on. But I still think it's crazy that Idol somehow got a rock hit before them. Y'all gotta learn self-respect. And fast. 'Cause it's killing me. Do I even gotta explain this one? You know it, I know it, they know it. Like, unfortunately, it might be a wrap for ITZY as a whole, especially when it comes to their relationship with the general public, but of course they'll always have the support of their established fanbase. JYP is too incompetent to achieve, maintain, and capitalize on the waves of support that they get. Although they've released some great B-sides, and by that I just mean the Checkmate album, ITZY has never and will never come close to making music as excellent as Saladala and Icy. I don't know what was in the 2019 JYP water, but it's clear they're undergoing some sort of drought. When's the last time you heard of Oh My Girl? Like, genuinely sit and think about it. When's the last time someone spoke about Oh My Girl outside of me praising one of the best mini albums of the year? When's the last time someone outside of me mentioned the group's current music as a whole and not just you as solo or throwback? When's the last time you ooh. The Ono girls used to be everywhere, but somehow faded into obscurity and I don't know why. Sure, the music wasn't that great, but was it really all that amazing to begin with? Sure, their concepts haven't been as interesting as Non-Stop, but again, was anything ever really cool? I just lied twice by the way, like they had some excellent ears visually and sonically, but lying is fun. Anyway. Y'all peaked. Let's disband. Debut the new girl group. Focus all our efforts on Cheon Hush Rush 2.0. One thing about Sunmi, I don't think she likes releasing good music too many times in a row because she don't like being y'all's favorite token soloist like Walk With Me. She feels the negative energy transforming into positivity, she feels the tides turning, she sees the support, and she's like no. Sunmi needs you right now. I'm sorry Hyuna needs some love right now. Because how else do you explain her going from Po-Ra P-Pam to a JYP collaboration? How do we go from heartburn to whatever Stranger was? Like either she's taking turns being the favorite, letting Tainasha use her as a vessel, or a secret third thing. Cause it truly makes no sense the things she be doing. We've reached the end of the video, but it wouldn't be a Najanugu video if I didn't do a speed run. Twice peaked in 2019. Argue with a wall. Cherry Bullet will never be famous. Who remembers SF9? Gravity, you somehow can't even get 10 million streams on Spotify but get more comebacks than WJSN. Fromus 9, I fear if we don't switch it up with the title tracks and put effort into promoting those god tier B-sides, it's gonna be a wrap for us. Everglow, you're nothing. Chung Ha, please get out of J Park's company. 6, give up at this point. 86, it's been over since debut.